All right, welcome back. We are 5 weeks out now from the Columbus Marathon, and today we linked up with Carlos. So we're gonna run some with Carlos, and the plan today. What do you have? 18, don't you?
17.
17.
17.
Carlos has 17, so we're gonna spend some time together in the beginning. I have a marathon pace finish at the end, and then I'm still gonna bake in some like 5 by 4 minutes at marathon pace. But the idea of the video today is I want to be able to take you through the entire structure of my week. So I'm going to take you through whenever I get done with this run. I'm going to take you through each day and show you exactly why I did each workout that I did, when I did easy runs, why I did them, and then how I'm structuring my speed work into my workouts on the weekend. Because I think when obviously this is my first marathon, but when I first got into this, I would look at everyone else's workouts and I wouldn't understand why they were doing what they were doing. And while I don't have even close to all of the answers yet, I do have a better understanding of why I'm doing the runs that I'm doing and when I'm doing them. So I'm hoping that with whatever I share with you, you can learn at least a little bit from it. But nonetheless, we're gonna get it started. We'll probably be running for about two hours and 40 minutes or so. And yeah, that'll be our Saturday. And before we go, for today's fueling, I have two of these bottles. And since today's session is higher in intensity and still longer in duration, I do want to fuel really well. But coming off the last 2 weekends, I did about 60 minutes total in my long run on the weekend. 60 minutes of each run was at marathon pace. This run specifically today will be about 40 minutes. I'm taking a slight step back before next weekend, which is a big workout. So I'm still going to fuel pretty heavily. I have 5 gels and then 2 of these. So in each bottle, I have 1 scoop of Ultraformance from First Form and then half a scoop of Relight. So in each of these, there's about 500 milligrams of sodium, and then there's about 24 grams of quick digesting carbs from the Ultraformance. So it's a 2-to-1 ratio. That's usually what I try to get in here. So I'll drink one of these from about 30 minutes to an hour and a half, and then the second one from hour and a half all the way through the end. And then I do have the Precision gels. So I have 5 of these, and we're gonna do one about every 30 minutes. And I have been loving these, so hopefully they still go well this time.
Switching watches?
The watch died. I have 25 minutes left of zone 2, and then the 20-minute marathon pace finish at the end. So we're gonna get Drew's VO2 max up here. We got his watch on.
Let's go.
So
that's
right.
Huge.
All right, that is a wrap on I hope it was around 19 or 20 miles. As you saw, my watch died partway through. I thought it was gonna make it through, but it did not. It died after I did the 5 sets of 4 minutes on, 4 minutes off. So at this point, I grabbed Drew's watch and finished out the rest of the run. And the last 20 minutes, I finished at a 10 seconds faster than marathon pace. So it ended up being at about a 6:35 to a 6:40, 6:42. And yeah, that's another week, 20 miler down. And as I promised you guys, I do want to go through and show you exactly what the structure of my week is looking like and why I'm structuring it the way I am. And I'll break down how I ran every day and the workouts I did, and we'll do that back at my apartment. We're gonna grab something to eat together, but I will meet you back there and I will walk you through what my week is looking like. So if you are in a marathon prep now, I was just thinking about this 4 weekends ago or 3 weekends ago, I believe. So if you go back 3 videos, you'll see that I did a 20-mile just easy run. And that for some reason felt harder than the last 3 have been, which were all had marathon paces baked into them. And I think that goes with saying is the body is always going to adapt. So if maybe this week you had a hard run, or maybe you missed some paces and it felt harder than it was supposed to, just remind yourself that every single time you get to that point and you push past it, I promise you the next weekend it's going to be easier. And that's when I think that this game starts to get extremely fun and you start to enjoy it. But you have to get through those first blocks first. And I think that this is just the majority of this game is mental. By far, the majority of it is mental, and nothing is promised. You can have a good weekend, and then you can have a bad weekend right after. It all comes down to mental, the preparation of it, the fueling. But
all right, guys, what's going on? Hope you don't care. I'm gonna throw my glasses on here as we get deep into the full calendar of what a week of running is looking like. And if I'm being completely honest with you, yesterday I was going to sit down and film the rest of this, and I fell asleep after my run. So here we are. It's next day. Now, deeper into prep with the last 4 weeks left, I've been baking my marathon paces into my long runs. So that is where I've noticed for myself personally, that's where I've noticed the biggest improvement is whenever I can hold these marathon paces for longer every single weekend and slowly stack how long I'm staying in that marathon pace, that's when I've noticed the biggest improvements. So 3 weeks ago, I had my first 20-mile run, and this was just an easy run. 2 weeks ago, I had my first marathon paces baked into the long run. So I did a 7 miles easy, 5 miles at marathon pace, 1 mile easy, 3 miles at marathon pace, 1 mile easy, 3 miles at marathon pace, 1 mile easy again. So you notice how there's that 5 up, 1 down, 3 up, 1 down. Those are the reps that I have noticed personally have made the biggest difference. Now, I wouldn't say if I was really new, so let's say last year in 2024 January, and I had just started, there's no way I would be ready for those types of intervals. I think that since I've built an aerobic foundation leading all the way through these first year and a half, I'm able to build in reps like that now. But my last 4 weeks, so September 15th through the 21st, is 5 weeks out, essentially. So this is when Monday comes around. You'll see here that I have 60 minutes easy, 6 by 4 minutes at a half marathon effort. So this would be faster than marathon pace. That's my quality session. I love these sessions because it's getting your body extremely used to that feel of this is what it feels like to run 20 seconds faster than your goal marathon pace. So if you're sustaining those with a pretty decent heart rate and your heart rate's recovering well, you're in pretty good shape. I like these a lot more than I have just your typical 400 meter repeats. And once again, this is me experimenting, but I've loved those quality sessions. Into the end of the week, my long run, this is where you'll see I'm going to start baking in the marathon paces right in the middle of the workout. You don't want to do this too often, obviously, but the reason I have this in there is because I want to be able to prove to myself, okay, I can hold that pace for X amount of minutes. I know I'm good to go. Then all I'm doing as I'm tapering those weeks down is I'm taking a little bit of mileage off my easy runs throughout the week. So like what the next week would look like. And then I'm also tapering that block where I hold the marathon paces. It gets a little bit shorter. And then here's the next week again. My easy runs get a little bit shorter. So instead of 55 minutes usually, and then that long run, the marathon pace block right in the middle of it, gets a little bit shorter again. And then right 2 weeks out from the event, I drop it off pretty significantly. So that marathon pace block is only 8 miles in there. And then the week of, idea here is I want to do a high intensity taper. So what I want to do is I don't want to just take all of my high intensity running away. So that would be like half marathon efforts that we were just talking about. Dropping volume, so completely bringing my miles down by about 40 to 50% is the goal for me in that week. But I still want to keep my intensity. So that's why you'll still see these half marathon efforts in here, 4 by 90 seconds. This is going to make sure I don't stay flat. My central nervous system is still getting the stimulation that it needs. That's exactly why I'm programming it the way that I am. But this is exactly how it'll look the next 4 weeks. Assuming that I don't program a deload in there, go deloads off of feel. So if I start noticing things hurt more than I would like, if I start noticing that I'm not really responding to the training the way I want to, I would program a deload in there. But that's exactly how I look at it. If you want to put it in a nutshell, you're essentially how I'm looking at the last 4 weeks is, can I do that full pace sustained effort in the middle of my long run? And keep in mind, I built up to that. And then I'm slowly tapering that marathon pace long run. I'm tapering that block in the middle of that run down. So 18, 16, 14, 8. Then I'm keeping my other quality session that week right around half marathon pace. So I'm still running paces that are faster than that marathon effort, but I'm just getting used to it over time. So that's the plan, guys. Be 5 weeks out starting next week. If you've been here the entire time and you've watched all of these videos, I cannot thank you enough. If you've reached out, I hope that you've been able to learn something as you see me go through my first marathon prep. I keep uploading these every Sunday. You know that I'm pretty consistent with that. And I genuinely appreciate you stopping by and watching. But I'll be back again next week with another video. And y'all have a great week.